Hi, guys.
Hi.
It
Hi.
is Julia Reed Nichols, and we are back with an episode of Better Than Sex, and I'm with my co-host,
Kitty Cat DeMille.
Yes.
And we have a special guest today. For those, could you please introduce yourself and give us the 2-minute elevator speech on yourself again?
Sure. Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Wendy from Teddy Love Adult Toys. I'm the CEO and inventor of Teddy Love, which is a vibrating bear used for couples play. And I'm happy to be here with both of you, Julia and Kitty. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. We've just been kind of enjoying our quarantine by catching up with all kinds of interesting people on the podcast. So this is actually your second time on our podcast, and we wanted to dig in a little bit more into the world of swinging with you. You have some expertise in this area, is that correct?
Yeah, of course. As a result of launching our sex toy, my husband and I really learned a lot about the underground world of sexuality. And it's not what what the layperson probably thinks it is. There's different levels of swinging, and it's pretty interesting. A lot of very educated people really partake in it, and I think it's very exciting to do something different, especially if you've been in a relationship for quite a while, and it just brings some fun and play into your bedroom, no matter what level you're at.
Yeah, I have never done it. I've never. No, I've never done it. Like I just wanted to make sure in my head. I'm like, wait, no.
Have you or haven't you? That's
No,
the question.
no. Like I am by nature very much polyamorous because I don't believe in expectations on relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But I am not a play well with other kind of person. I like the one-on-one when I'm dealing with a romantic partner. But I totally understand the value of it, especially when you are in a long-term relationship and you're looking to explore and seek different avenues and have a fun time.
Yeah, and I think even I've seen people that have been in relationships a short time in the lifestyle, and I've seen people that have been, pretty vanilla and very monogamous go into it, and there's different levels. See, that's the thing. Like when you tell people, "Oh, I partake in swinging," they think that you're bisexual. I think that's what the general public perceives. But there's different levels of swinging, and it doesn't mean that you're bisexual. Not that and there's nothing wrong with being bisexual or homosexual, but I think the general layperson just has a bad connotation of what swinging is. And I have to say, just because of the business, we really embraced it because the people are so wonderful in that lifestyle that they're like regular moms and dads. They have kids, and you'd never know. But there are different levels. Like the first level, which is soft swapping, is just no intercourse at all. So you might like be a couple, a monogamous couple, and then you meet another couple that's in the lifestyle, and then you just switch partners, and it's very hetero. Then you could go into full swapping, which does include intercourse. And then, eventually a lot of people, fully immerse themselves into this lifestyle where they're having sex with, it doesn't matter, they have sex in groups, they have sex, full swap, they have sex with, same sex, in relationships, that sort of thing. So there's different levels, and I think the lay public probably just thinks like, oh, everybody's screwing around and fucking around in orgies every day and night, and that's not really what the lifestyle's about. It's more about embracing people for who I love it because they embrace people for who they are, and nobody really judges. And in life, there's so much judgmental people out there. It's very refreshing, I have to say. So if you can like go on a cruise, like we went on a Bliss cruise, we were selling all of our products on this Bliss cruise. It went from Florida all the way to Mexico and then back to Florida. And everybody, there's rooms that people can engage. You can meet other people, have sex there. There's just different levels of it. That's the thing I think most people don't understand.
Now, I have a question about like a cruise like that. Do
Mhm.
you need to walk in with paperwork when you get on the cruise in
No,
terms
like
of
if what
your
go
STDs?
nope, nope, you
No.
don't. No. And that is, I have to say, like, going from a monogamous, my husband and I are monogamous, and then going into, understanding and evolving into this like full swap thing.
Mhm.
We're kind of very particular because we were monogamous for probably 24 years.
Mhm.
And so, of course, we neither of us had STDs or AIDS or HIV. And so that is a little scary because I have a healthcare background. And yeah, you just have to make sure you're wearing rubbers and there's female condoms if, you're going to be extra careful like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I had asked that as well because that is something, you assume people are going to be forthright and protect themselves going into it.
Well, I mean, I've never really partaken in sex parties, but like being like more of a Burning Man kind of person, I know a lot of people who have,
Uh
and
huh.
I know that some of those parties that my friends go to, you have to bring your paperwork.
Oh,
At least in like the California scene, it seems, or the ones that
right.
they were going to.
Well, I think California, they were the first state, I think, to even adopt condom use in pornography, as I recall. So they're probably more conservative in a way, to
Hmm.
protect people. I don't think
Hmm.
it's a bad idea. I think it's actually a great idea,
Hmm.
to have that paperwork. Maybe they didn't require it, but any place I've been to, they've never required any paperwork. No,
Hmm.
it's assumed that people are going to be careful and use safe sex and protect themselves. And if they have STDs or HIV, then they shouldn't really go and partake. Or if they are, they have to be honest and forthright.
Yeah, I know that we talked to Ashley Manta of Canosexual a while ago, and she met one of her partners at a sex party, and she said the way they met each other is that they were both forthright on the fact that they had herpes,
Ah,
and that was like the thing that, among other things, helped them connect.
sure. And hopefully it's the same strain of herpes, right?
Yeah,
I think
I
there's
mean,
different strains. And you know what? If you are HIV positive, it's not the end of the world. That's the same thing. You can meet somebody that is also HIV positive, and then it doesn't really matter. You don't have to worry about transmitting it.
right, exactly.
You
Um,
know.
Now, these cruises, like, do they retrofit? Okay. So one of the things that I do is I'm a professional cuddler, and I had a client in Florida, and he messaged me. You negotiate and everything, and he's like, here's the hotel I'm going to be staying at." He was down for work.
Uh
And
huh.
I looked at it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Like, I didn't even, it looked like a good location. And I get there and it's a swingers hotel. And
Right.
that's
It's a
and
takeover. It's a
right.
takeover.
And the funny thing was that I just like had looked at like the Yelp picture, but not read what it was about. So we got into the elevator and there were just like naked pictures everywhere. And we walked by a playroom and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, is this a sex hotel? And he's like, yeah, and I was like, he's like, that's why I messaged you, just to let you know this is where I like to stay. And I was like, oh, that's really funny. But it was very interesting because like I had never been to a hotel like that.
Mm-hmm.
We were just cuddling, but like it was interesting. They had like an entire top of they had a pool that you
Yeah.
could like sunbathe at and like,
Mm-hmm.
play at and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting because I guess the first time I was ever exposed to really anything like that, we had a booth and we were selling the products, and then out of curiosity, we walked around. Like one of us would go, and we had met another couple, but I had never seen a sex room like that before. So what it is really open bedding, and and they change the sheets in between, couples playing.
Hmm.
But you could, like, there's certain signals, like even if you go to a club in New York City or Florida, there's certain signals. If you allow people to join in, or if you just want to be together by yourselves watching everyone, or if you're just a voyeur. But it was
Right.
pretty fascinating when I walked through. I remember the first time I walked through, I was like, wow. I was amazed that everybody's out there having sex, and it was like in an open environment where I was just kind of like looking at first. I couldn't believe it. It just amazed me. And actually, there was a guy all the way in the corner having sex, and I'm like, oh my god, that guy has a penis and boobs. So he was a transsexual. And I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, everybody was watching this one person. Like they were amazed too. But that one weekend, there was a pool. It was a whole takeover for the hotel, and we were in the pool, and there was all these other couples. And I don't know if you ever saw the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the last scene in the pool where but it was my first time, and I ended up, everybody was like, I don't know, there was a man, there was a penis in each of my hands. There was like boobs all over. Everybody's massaging me, and I was like floating in the pool. People were making out with me. Someone's eating me out. I was like, oh my God. It was like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And that was my first time like engaging in anything like that. And my husband, was involved in everything too. And I said, this is kind of fun, and it brings a lot of spice into your relationship. Now, the people that we met that weekend, we're still friends with, and they live down in Florida. And we've met some really nice couples that, you really can't talk to most people about stuff like that.
Hmm.
People, like I said, are very judgmental. So they think you're like, you've got a screw loose or something if they're not in the lifestyle. What's nice about the lifestyle is, like I said, nobody really judges. And it's all about, creating these themes and memories. So, if you're masturbating, you could always think about, hey, that time you were in the pool with all these people on you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's it's one of the things that like I really appreciate about the sexier industries is the level of lack of judgment.
Hmm.
I feel like the further off you go off the spectrum of being vanilla, the more you have to be okay with everything because you
Sure.
yourself are okay with everything.
Sure.
You just hit a level of self-awareness.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think it's also letting go of your inhibitions. And that's a healthy thing to do. When you start opening yourself up to different experiences in life and reducing your inhibitions, I think it's healthy. It's a good way to live your life.
Hmm.
It's fun, and it brings a lot of spice too into like a, vanilla type relationship.
And when we're not living in a world with COVID, what's a good way for people to start kind of putting their toe into this sort of thing in their own community if it's something they're interested in?
Yeah, you can look up anything if you Google search lifestyle. You should be able to find things locally. And I know the Bliss cruises are something that's fun, but there's also, swinging clubs in most metropolitan, even in suburbia. You'd be surprised. There's like these little dungeons where people swing. You could do swinging, you could do BDSM, you could do a lot of different things. All you have to do is really, everything's at your fingertips, and just Google search it and find something locally, that you can just, I think the hotel takeovers are the best way to do that, because everybody in the building's going to be, either in a lifestyle or soft swapping or full swapping. So,
Mhm.
it's like a safe environment to experiment. I think it's all about experimenting and finding what you prefer and what you like. And the biggest thing, something that I would totally suggest is, if you and your partner are going to engage in this, you have to have some sort of agreement as to what level before you partake. So, in other words, you have to have an agreement. Are you going to full swap, soft swap? Is there going to be intercourse? Isn't there? And what are the rules of engagement, I call them. So you have to understand up front, okay, here's my signal. If I'm not comfortable, here's my signal. It's like, when you're doing BDSM, you're like, pick a color. If you say the color, stop, doing the flogging or the whipping. So it's the same thing, have a code word with your partner. And if they're not comfortable, you need to back off, and and some of the other things I would suggest is if you're going to partake, like the agreement my husband and I have is we're not allowed to play outside the marriage. It's okay, like if we're both playing, but I can't like say, "Oh, that guy's really hot. I want to fuck him outside of the marriage," and continue to do that without my husband knowing. That's not allowable. So I feel like, if you're married or you're in a relationship, 25 years, it's bound to happen that one of you may have an affair. So I always say, hey, you might as well be in on it. You might as well partake and be in on it as opposed to them just having an affair behind your back. Right? Why not have fun as a couple with it?
Right. Absolutely. Now, when you guys first were getting into it, you and your husband, did you guys talk about it for a long time beforehand? Was it something that like you guys brought up that you were interested in, or was it more like, oh, why don't we do this together right now on a whim?
I think it just evolved because of the business and because of all the things we were observing and learning about, that it just naturally created this curiosity for both of us. And I think the first time we played, the couple that we met told me, she said, you really have to have an agreement. You can't just jump into this because you want to preserve the marriage and the relationship. You don't want to, create, a problem so that you break up because of it. So it kind of sort of evolved at first, but then, one of my friends that we made through the lifestyle set made those suggestions to me, which I hold dearly.
Right. It makes sense because, like, if you wanted to break up the marriage, maybe you'd have an affair, right?
Right. Anybody could go have an affair, but not everybody can navigate having, an affair together with someone or another
Right.
couple.
I mean,
So,
it's definitely another level of intimacy.
yeah, and you're just, it's so, what happens is each time you do something like this, it creates a different kind of scene. And those are memories, and then when you're having sex together alone, you can bring up some of the memories or talk about it. It's kind of fun, and then we have friends that we still have through in the lifestyle that we still talk to. And now with COVID, it's more like, okay, what are you going to do? Well, you could have phone sex.
Yeah.
You're not gonna they're from different parts of the country too, it's kind of nice. So it just adds another level of discreetness and fun and spice into your relationship. And I'm not saying it's for everyone, and I wouldn't say, like, even earlier in my marriage would have been open to this, but I think we both came to the same point where, we're together 25 years. It gets a little, can get, not that it ever did, but it can get a little, dry. No pun intended.
But and you, in this age of COVID, are people doing like virtual play dates, or how's the swinger community staying connected?
No, I think they're still engaging. They're still engaging, but we're not. I'm like I said, I have a healthcare background, and we had such a spike here on the East Coast that it could happen again. Are you down in Florida? Did you say?
I'm in Florida.
Yeah, so the spike there is just scary. So
Yeah.
I think for now, unless people have been social distancing and very careful, then you can engage with them. Otherwise, I would say just keep your mask on, which is not that. That's not that fun, I don't know how else you're going to do it, but that's not that fun to keep a mask on when you're having, oral sex. How is that going to work? I don't know. Maybe they can invent a mask where you could do oral sex through it. How about that? That's a good invention.
Right.
But COVID's tough, you know, you want to be careful. We're just doing like phone sex. I guess, you know, now's the time to, you know, you're home. If people are still social distancing, you could start exploring on your computer to find out groups that you can engage with when everything stops being in lockdown, I guess certain parts of the country. But in the meantime, you could do phone sex. That's fun too. Go in the hot tub
Yeah.
with your partner, call your little friends, and start playing that way. That's fun too. You know.
Yeah, or people can get some of your toys. What are some of the toys that you have in your line of Teddy Love? I know you have the vibrating bear.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we also have vibrators. So I'll tell you, every toy we have on the Teddy Love Adult Toy site can be used on men and women. So I use vibrators on my husband all the time on his balls and his penis. He loves it, and around his, you know, near his ass. Men are like, sometimes they're squeamish about putting anything near their asshole, but you can loosen them up too. Use lube and use some of the toys that way too. We also have a strap on, so that's fun. You know, if you're gonna try to peg somebody, really anything we have on our website and the Teddy Love Adult Toy website can be used. You know, for couples. I mean, that's what we're into, is toys for couples. So everything can be used for both men and women, except I have a prostate massager and women don't have a prostate. So you could do something
So
else with it, I guess.
too bad, so sad for us. And where online can people find you?
Yeah, if you ever want to reach out, I'm at info@teddyloveadulttoys.com. That's the best way to reach me. And I'm Dr. Wendy. So
Perfect,
I'd love to
Dr.
hear from
Wendy.
you people. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us and sharing the world of swinging with us. And I'm sure
Absolutely.
we'll talk again. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
You're welcome. And one last thing, I will put in a 15% discount coupon. Give me it one day for tomorrow, and we'll put it in as 15% if they put the code word kitty cat.
Oh, awesome.
Perfect. Oh, we'll tell everybody.
That's easy to remember.
I love it how I was just delighted by the fact that I was a discount code. Like I was like, oh, my name? Oh, I'm a discount code? Awesome.
Yeah,
that's so exciting. Well, we will share it when we share the podcast. And thank you so much, Dr. Wendy.
Thank you. Have a great night. Bye.
You too. Bye.
I like it how you waved to a
I did. I waved to a black box. I felt weird not weaving. It felt weird.
It's very weird doing it it's very weird in general doing it, because like you're like, where do I look? Because it's a black box. So
yeah.
It's like, you're like, we're on video. Like, how are we supposed to position ourselves?
Well,
I look at you a lot of the time.
That's what I was looking at. Although it felt weird because we were talking about swinging and eating assholes and things. And so I was like, oh, maybe I won't look at Cat. I mean, it's never a dull moment around here. It's fascinating, though. I know a lot of people that are really into the idea of swinging. I don't think it's nearly as taboo as it used to be. And there's a lot of, one of my favorite books about sex is Sex at Dawn, and it goes deep into the psychology of why we find swinging fascinating. So if you're looking for a good read about why we like watching other people bone, Sex at Dawn.
It gets really deep into it, and a lot of it has to do with like when we were monkeys back in the day and the woman was in heat, like the men would come and wait in line to take their turn at her, and over time it led to the male species really being interested in watching people have sex, which is why men a lot of times are more stimulated by porn.
Yes.
Yeah, which I thought.
And women like noises. Women like hearing things. And
yeah. Oh, and words.
Words. We like all the words.
We
Give me
love
all the words.
You know, I was as Dr. Wendy was talking, I was thinking of when I was working at Hustler, the amount of people that I was amazed would open up their phone to show me a naked picture, because that's what some people do at strip clubs. You know, they start talking about their wife or like whatever, and they show you these. I have a hair on my. There I got. Okay, I got it. But I am not a person who has naked pictures on my phone, like, because I never know if my mom's gonna open up my phone or my dad or my sister. But like, I was always amazed that like the amount of people who just had like everything on their phone, like they didn't care, like open it up and like here's a picture of this and this and this and this. And it's one of those things where like you might not be doing it like on either thing, but there are still a lot of people who are doing it and have, you know, are the people that have a bunch of naked pictures on their phone, or go to the dungeon in the suburbs, or go to the cruise that's the swinging cruise.
Well, I want to go to all of them. I want to go to all of them, and if nothing else, just people watch.
Yeah, I always say like it's never people having sex. I'm so like not into porn. Like it's like I would be bored after 15 minutes because I wouldn't be involved in the storyline.
Yeah, everybody's bored. Most porns are like 3 minutes. You're not there to like watch a cinematographic like story. Like
I swear, like everything's more sexy with clothes on for me, and like the art of taking them off more so than like actually watching like the act of sex itself.
But, well, it's a good thing you work in burlesque then.
True.
But speaking of content, you found this really interesting article on Vice about a country that I actually didn't know was quite as censored as it turns out to be.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was. I mean, I knew it had some political things going on, but I wasn't aware of this. So,
well, you know that it is one of the most restrictive countries in Asia. You know, like they have you can't have chewing gum in that country also. It's illegal.
No, I didn't realize. I guess I didn't realize Singapore because it appears very cosmopolitan to me.
Oh yeah, it totally is. It's super. Not that I've been there, but like I have a friend who's from there. Very cosmopolitan, like very much like crazy rich Asians, just like you know, jet setting lifestyle. And but like you're not allowed to litter there. There's like a ton of rules that it's just like it's straight up illegal to have like chewing gum. And this was where's the date? Oh, it's not there. Okay, so but like what happened was when this country became a country in 1965, they kept a lot of laws on the books that we now consider colonial. And one of them is that it upholds a ban on gay sex, which in this day and age is a little weird because
a little weird. It's like super weird.
Right.
Like, yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. You know, it is. It's really weird when you think about it, considering how cosmopolitan it is. And what happens is this article in Vice is talking about how with Netflix, you know, the way that Netflix pretty much makes stuff is it makes its own content so it can be in every country. But they have a lot of issues in Singapore because things that you wouldn't think would be labeled their highest rating, which is R21, restricted 21 and above. They, you know, like for example, they used Queer Eye go for the straight guy, and because it involves gay themes, because it's gay guys giving advice, it's considered an R21 show. And
that's like a G-rated show on a lot of. That's like a family. I could watch that with like a 7-year-old and feel totally fine.
Another one of them was Modern Family. Modern Family.
What?
Modern Family is an R21 show in Singapore.
Modern Family's my family would be considered R21 in Singapore.
But here's the thing that I found funny, because they had a list that Vice had compared 10 shows across the countries of Asia, and they found that Singapore was the most restrictive. But like, for example, RuPaul and Will and Grace were considered M18. So 18-year-olds could watch those shows, whereas Modern Family was a 21-year-old.
Do you think that's oh God, I don't even know. I don't even know why I'm going to try to split hairs on that one. It's all ridiculous.
Well, I mean, like, Pornhub exists. Like, kids are looking at porn at 12. Like, it's
Are there groups in Singapore that are existing to try to expand free speech and expand? There has to be, because this is. I mean, it seems so for a city that's.
Yeah.
It's not a sheltered city. People travel in and out of there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know the politics as much as that, as like we're talking about this little glimpse into it.
Yeah.
But it is definitely interesting. I will say overall with this the news articles we're going over today, there seems to be a theme of like differences between countries, because our next one has to deal with cursing.
Yes, motherfucker.
And, I came across a Quora. I think it's Quora. It's like the one where people post questions that's not Reddit, and then people respond to it. And somebody had said, what is the language that has the most curse words or is considered the dirtiest overall? And then like everybody came in, and it was very interesting to read all their like perspectives about languages. For example, like in the Italian language, they have two different kinds of words. They've got parloci, which I'm sure I'm saying is absolutely wrong, which are considered ugly words, and they have like bestemimi, which are blasphemous words. So the ugly words are allowed in films and TV, but the bestemies, which are when you pretty much curse God,
involve God. Yeah.
Yeah, those are like, oh God,
no go.
If you say those, it's like, fuck. It's like we're the
yeah.
So if you get caught doing those,
I feel like everything in Italian kind of sounds like a swear word, though.
It
like
does.
even like everything's like a poco.
In such a dramatic way too.
Yeah.
Somebody else chimed in, which I thought was hysterical. They're what was this? Hungary? Yeah, in Hungary, apparently the language of Hungarian has so many curse words that you could curse for 2 minutes straight and not repeat one curse word.
Oh, good for Hungarians.
So you can be really dramatic. You be and every single word is a different word.
A different one. I wonder how long you could do that in the English language for.
Yeah.
I mean, I would try, but I think I'd run out.
I think that overall the English language, we're kind of boring. Like as George Carlin said, we have like the 7 dirty words, but we are no way near like 2 minutes. Like 2 minutes is like insane.
Yeah.
Also in this, they talked about Russia. And Russia's really interesting because it's like for almost every word out there, there's a dirty word version of it. And it's called MAT.
Ooh.
M-A-T. So it's like you can literally have a dictionary of taboo words, which are like the dirty words for stuff. And there's a couple urban legends when it comes to this. One of them was at one point there was a factory, and some politician was going to show up for the day. So the boss said, you can't use the mat words, you can't use the dirty words, you have to use the real words for the tools, because they were at a factory. And it stopped the production because none of the workers knew the clean words for the tools that they were working.
That sounds about right.
So they didn't know how to communicate with each other in front of the politician. Another story with it is that the CIA tapped a factory to kind of learn the secrets of what they were building in Russia. But all of the workers there were using the MAT language. And because the CIA only knew like basic Russian and not the MAT language, they had no idea what they were talking about.
That's fascinating. It's almost like the Indian code words, you
Right.
know, where they.
It's yeah. I mean, like all of it's so interesting. Just like how what's considered like a curse word or not. Like one of the things that somebody went into was with British slang. You know, bloody. The word bloody can be a very very mild adjective to like a really bad curse word, depending on the context of it.
Yeah, like bloody hell.
Right, like bloody hell. And then like crikey and blimey actually mean crikey means Christ kill me, and blimey means God blind me.
What?
Yeah.
Crikey, blimey.
Right.
Crikey.
Yeah. I mean, I found it fascinating because, like,
It is fascinating. We don't think about these things.
Right. When I was in college, and the reason why I found this one was because when I was in college, I was looking something up that I had remembered, which was my sophomore year. I lived across the way from a group of girls, and one of the girls was Japanese, and she said in Japan they didn't have any curse words, and I was like, "What? Like, how could you not?
How is that possible?"
She's like, we don't. There are no words that you cannot say in Japanese. Now, I don't 100% know if that's true or if that was like my memory of it, but like that's why I was I was like, is this true? Like I was remembering it. But like to me, like that in itself is also weird. Like it's just crazy to think that because
it's such a polite language that they don't even have curse words. I just can't even believe that. Like I just like, oh, good fuck is needed every once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, not just like in life, but in verbiage.
I've ordered stuff on the past on Wish, which comes from China. And one of the things I ordered showed up that I had ordered like 3 months ago, but because of COVID, like took forever. And it was a water ball where it's got a pump in it and circulates the water for the cats, because the cats have a tendency to get UTIs. So they say it's always good to have water that's moving for them to drink because they drink it more. So it was a Japanese box that was sent to me. So it was in Japanese and underneath it was in English. And one of the things that it said as like a slogan was in Japanese, and underneath it said, "Cats prefer to drink water."
What else are they gonna drink? All right.
Wait, okay, yeah. No, that's absolutely true. That is a true statement. I loved that was the advertising slogan for the box. Like,
yeah,
like they were like, "Yes, this is true."
Oh my gosh, that's really funny.
Oh man, it's almost as funny as the fact that the cat is afraid of the water bowl right now.
Because it squirts water at it. I get it. I get why it's terrifying. The water bowl didn't used to do that.
I know. So it's like,
oh, poor thing.
I know. And cats, it takes them a while to get used to stuff. They're not dogs. They are not like, okay, this is what we're doing now. You know, a cat.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like when they say when you move, you have to like put a cat in a room and then let it get to explore over time so that it's not overwhelmed. Whereas a dog would be like, whatever, this is our new house. Everything's great.
Yeah, that's like my favorite thing about Bella is like I can just like put her in a bag, take her somewhere else, and all of a sudden, new home. Yeah. Like she doesn't care where we're at. Nope. She's super happy.
Nope. If there are carrots there, she is good.
Yeah. So we're going camping next week. She's gonna come with me and be my buddy. Nice. So we'll see how she'll probably spend most of her time just laying on the couch in the van, but
probably,
you know. I'm excited though. I'm excited to go into the wilderness. I have all these plans on meditating and coming up with the genius next step for the company.
Oh, whatever. I love it. It's like your own private Burning Man.
Yeah, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to bring a box of wine and meditate and hang out on a lake with my pup and decide what we're going to do next. I'm getting a little like COVID stir crazy. So I need a new project, I think. So
I understand. I feel like I was really lucky to go to California for those couple weeks and bounce around, but like a lot of people have not been traveling as much. And you have been traveling, but
Oh,
this is
I feel guilty. I've been traveling and I feel fucking imagine the people who haven't left their house in 4 months.
I know. Like my sister was she's coming to Florida. We're gonna go sailing in the Keys in October. And she
So
was like,
nice.
she's like, I really need a trip. I really need a trip. So I'm like, no, and again, I understand it. Like you really haven't, other than going to Tahoe.
No,
She
other than Tahoe.
I know. She was there for so long too. She was weeks at a time. But it's different. It's different to go to a different place.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I just booked my travel for our August shows with Pinups on Tour, so that's exciting. Got our travel done. We're going to be going to Illinois and Indiana, which you can check out at pinupsontour.com if you want to come out and see my boobs and Becky's boobs and making Becky come with me. So
Nice.
and then we also have a whole slew of Midwest people that are going to be there.
I was going to say, you can play the ukulele and Becky can play the accordion.
I know, we're becoming quite the musical group. Little did we know.
I'm telling you, totally something from like a Bing Crosby movie in the 40s.
Well, Erin said she got a pink ukulele and she's been teaching herself that, so me and her could do ukulele duets together.
Yeah. Didn't you do a ukulele duet with Caitlin? Did you? Or no?
I never learned how to play the ukulele before COVID. She played.
She played and you guys sang together.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually are doing a bunch of virtual hospital visits, and some of these hospitals are so old that they can't even, like, they can do the one-on-one like through somebody's cell phone for in the rooms, but they don't have like a way to broadcast over the internet into the rooms. So we had to send DVDs, and I was pulling best of videos from the past like 5 years. And I pulled one of the videos of Caitlin and I was like, these were really fun. Like,
they were fun.
Yeah. So if you want to check those out, I think some of them, there's videos of me and Caitlin on our Burlesque channel on YouTube. I know there are.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Well, I mean, and also like when we did all the Christmas ones that one year.
Yeah. I'm trying to drive people back to our YouTube channel though, Kat.
Oh,
at WTT Burley.
Oh, because no, some of the Pinups on Tour stuff is on WTT Burley.
It is. That's true.
Yeah,
it is.
That's
the
what
early Pinups on Tour stuff.
That's what I was implying.
Yeah.
The WTT YouTube, not the Pinups on Tour YouTube.
Yeah. and go through our website, WTT Burlesque, because apparently people care how many people go to our website. So check out our website. Even if you don't even like want to hang out there, it's WTTburlesque.com.
Yeah.
There's tons of videos. You could literally hang out for hours and watch videos. So
and
there's lots of good stuff. Catch up on past podcasts.
Yes, past podcasts. Also, amazing. There are some really, really pretty videos on there with gorgeous costumes and gorgeous ladies.
Yes.
Like the Miss Miranda one.
Yeah. I think one of the next things on my, we're getting such a nice team together. I think one of the things I want to find a good like director of photography, because we used to get such nice footage in Los Angeles because of all the filmmakers. There's so many good filmmakers in LA. Yeah. And Vegas is just a different kind of town. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I need to find my videographer, my DP here in Vegas. But soon, I'm sure. I'm sure. But speaking of photographers, this has nothing to do with photographers. I was trying to segue into sexy photography, and that didn't work. Sophia Loren's hot. That's where I was going with this. Sophia Loren is really hot. This is who we're talking about.
That's all the segue we need for this one.
Okay, good, perfect.
Yeah, so Sophia Loren, she is our
kick-ass woman of the week.
Yeah, kick-ass sexy woman of the week. Sophia was born in 1934 in Rome. And she, was a very, very sexy Italian actress. She started acting at 16 when 1950. And then a couple of years later, she got a 5-picture deal with Paramount. And she's also was one of the first women to get an Oscar for a role that was not in English.
And her body is insane. It's insanity.
Yeah. She has a Grammy, 5 special Golden Globes. She got the Best Actress at the Cannes Film Festival, the Cecil B. DeMille Award at the Gold. Like, I never realized how well
awarded she was.
No, absolutely. I mean, I knew she was sexy and she was hot.
I had no idea. I actually remember her from that movie. I think it was in the 90s. What was it? Like Two Angry Men or
Grumpier Old Men. Yeah.
Grumpier Old Men. Yeah, that's what I know her from. And I remember my mom being like, oh, she is hot. Like, you don't even know. Like, you think she's a hot old lady. You should have seen her back in the day.
Right. No.
Because she is a hot old lady.
She is. She still is. She's a beauty pageant girl, Julia. I thought you would like that. Yeah, she was Miss Italia and won the title of Miss Elegance 1950.
Yes, good for her.
Yeah. In 1964, she made $1 million to appear in the Fall of the Roman Empire. So, along with being $1 million
in 1964.
Yeah.
What? That's insane.
That is, that's the thing. That along with being an award-winning actress, Sophia was also making the bucks. She was getting like some really good deals because she was a sex symbol who could bring it. She did do an 18-day stint in prison for tax evasion in 1982, which I found funny.
Oopsie, that's one of my rules in life. Pay your taxes.
Yes.
You just got to pay your taxes.
It's a very good rule, as anyone in the entertainment industry.
Or the mob.
Or the mob. You still got to pay your taxes. You still got to
pay your tax. Uncle Sam doesn't care where the money came for. They just want their cut.
When I was in college, this movie came out with Brad Pitt that I loved called Meet Joe Black, where he played like death. And he fell in love with this girl, and Anthony Hopkins was like this super rich guy that like bargained 2 more weeks so he could say goodbye to his family. And then Brad Pitt falls in love with his daughter, of course. But the whole time everybody's like, who is this guy? Why is he here? Why is he here? He's, really deaf. And at the end of it, he announces that he is auditing the IRS. And everybody's because it's death and taxes.
Yes.
Yes. So.
Yes.
I will say that Sophia Loren, she did a lot of work with Peter Sellers because apparently he was like obsessed with her. He was like always trying to like have a romantic relationship with her, and she was not down with it. She did have an affair with Cary Grant, though.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're gonna have an affair with anybody,
right? Exactly.
Might as well be Cary Grant.
He's so dashing, and he was discovered by Mae West.
Mae West, who we talked about, is another one of our kick-ass women in history.
We did. So
yeah.
Well, that's all I have for you.
Yeah. Well, I recommend people Google Sophia Loren just to see pictures.
And you can see the picture of her and Jane Mansfield that we talked about on the last.
Yes, that is hilarious. That is a hilarious photo, if nothing else. Check that out.
Yeah.
Because they're clearly both bombshells and icons in their time. And that photographer caught a moment in history.
Absolutely caught a moment in history.
Well, perfect. So we'll be back with more episodes of Better Than Sex, where we try to figure out what's better than sex.
And someday we might. Someday, but not today.
Not today. And if you want to find us on YouTube or the socials at WTT Burley, our website, WTT Burlesque. If you like us, please remember to rate and file reviews and all those things that iTunes loves. It helps us with the algorithm. With that, we'll see you guys later. Bye.